Yeah, Solid Hill TDS, what's up? Yeah, come on. I.O.W. Sports Network, late night edition. Let's go. Come on.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card mark. Hey. L Boogie with the hot flame, ashtray full of top names, little tree for your membrane. This the night hour time frame. I just snatched up a 6-pack, got my hands on a lid pack, whipping up a little batch of snacks. Yeah, man, I think I'm all set. Late night, can't sleep. Go ahead and just tap in. Better grab you a cold one, and we about to get some laughs in. Wild card on the microphone, he'll hit you with a couple flurries. Y'all need to just strap in for some entertainment sports commentary. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. We about to raise the bar. Wild card bar. Everybody grab a seat, cause you know we about to spark. Late night sports talk. Modelo Le Cigar. Man, you don't wanna start. Wild card bar. Hey. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Wild card bar. Wild card bar. I.O.W. Late night sports. Hey.
Give me a second, let me light up real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, welcome to the I.O.W. Sports Late Night Hour Edition, hosted by Mr. Modelo himself. You already know the name by now. You know what I'm saying? Wild Card Mark. You already know the vibe. Pull up, let's go.
We about to raise the bar. Wild card mark.
What's happening? What's happening? What's up? Got that drink in my cup. I know what it is. It's your boy Wildcard Mar in the building. And of course, I got JerzeyBoy MJ. Y'all know what it is. Tap in with my guy 40 Water, Silent Hill TDS. See it on the bottom of your screen. Make that dope intro for the show. And then while you're over there checking him out, check us out on YouTube, I.O.W. Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, I.O.W. Sports One on the Twitter. JerzeyBoy MJ. What's happening, man? How you doing?
I made it till Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, that shirt is ugly, but I mean, how you doing though,
bro? You really want? This is how you want to go? We'll go all night. Take that despicable hat off.
Hey, man, I'm okay with it, man. Hey,
and I'm okay with this because
blue's a good color.
I've seen my team win, so I'm comfortable. This is the old school Giant shirt.
Yeah, man. That's I dig it. You know, I just gotta poke at you just a little bit. But hey, making this
Fuck
return,
your Royals.
It's okay. I'm saying the same thing too.
Fuck your Chiefs.
I mean, you. Hey, I mean, you know.
Yeah, you want to go? We'll go. Come on.
That's fine. I mean, we you know. But anyway, making this return back to the show, man. We done a lot of appearances on here. One of the mods for the Facebook group that we got because he's a great contributor there, and he contributes here quite often on the podcast. Hey, welcome back, Randy Weber. What's up, Rand?
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
Shit, I just got smashed in between two Giants fans. It's just disgusting.
When we do these previews, you know that we're going to be putting the Giants high in these previews.
Hey, before we do that, bro, can I say what the hell is going on in Arizona with this fire sale that they're doing?
Rebuild.
No, it's tanking.
I'm loving it.
It's tanking.
That's
tanking.
yeah. That's the political way to say it.
I just want to point out that this is the second time that we got a player for basically nothing.
You got him for peanuts. You got him.
First Darren Waller, now this. Like I'm loving this. I'm loving us fleecing the rest of the league right now.
But it's Isaiah Simmons. Did the Cardinals just didn't care? They was like, yeah, he not only was he a first round draft pick a couple of years ago. We know how freakishly athletic he is. I know they was trying to put him at safety, but with his ability, like I wouldn't. Obviously, he's been playing linebacker even at Clemson, so he might have played a little bit of safety because I know he got recruited for that. But it's been some years, so trying to convert him back in the NFL.
Arizona doesn't know how to use their defenders, and this is definitely the result of them just not really knowing what to do with this really versatile defensive player. They've taken a bunch of their defenders and kind of tried to move their positions from what they were used to and played around with it a lot when there was no reason to, and they did that with Simmons.
That's crazy, though.
Yeah, so we're absolutely going to tap into his potential with Wink Martindale.
So I was about to say, Wink about to go dumb shit crazy with Isaiah Simmons.
And the middle linebacker was one of the defensive positions we were a little weak on. Like Okereke didn't really have a lot of help on. We can slot him right there.
That's crazy, man. I got him for peanuts, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tripping about it because I'm literally just like, all right, so I get it. Okay, let's be honest. If you're gonna have this fire sale, trade all your talent, Kyler Murray included. Just do it.
Yeah. You just get rid of everyone. Couldn't do a complete rebuild because Kyler Murray and if you take the couple of pieces they have that aren't bad, it's still not gonna win them anything. So just undo everything, go into the Caleb Williams sweepstakes at this point.
I think they are, bro. They're tanking like a mug right now.
Yeah,
absolutely tanking like a mug right now, and there's no way you can really, I don't think you can even label it anything else. They're tanking like hell.
Yeah,
more.
No, they're
more.
I see you go take care of your business, man. No,
all right, so I saw that you guys did NFC East.
Yeah, we did the NFC East today.
The day show. So we're just gonna go through each spot in the league.
Go through it real quick on kind of your NFC East predictions on how you see it shaking out.
Okay.
Real quick.
All right, so I'll start from the bottom. Washington, I think, is going to be horrendous. I think I honestly, when I looked, because I did the predictor, the predictors for each game, looking at each schedule. I think their offense is going to be so bad with Sam Howell. They could honestly just win one game against the Cardinals and that be it. I wouldn't even be surprised.
Yo, you really think that bad? I mean, they won what 7 or 8 games last year?
Yeah, but right now, not only do they have a rookie quarterback, but they have a 5th-round rookie quarterback. They have a rookie quarterback nobody wanted until the 5th round. And, they had Taylor Heineke, who's bad. He's a backup QB. But I think this is going to be significantly worse. Even though they have a good defensive line, I don't think that's going to be able to save them. I don't think Terry McLaurin is going to save them. I think that situation is going to be so bad that when looking at their schedule, that was the only game that I was confident they're definitely going to win, is the one against the Cardinals.
Yeah, anybody's beating the Cardinals right now. I think Bishop Sycamore could beat the Cardinals right now, if you ask me. But man, I'm actually kind of surprised by that, Randy. I just think I don't think they're going to be obviously the cream of the crop of the NFC, but if they can duplicate at least 7-8 wins like they kind of did last year, I thought that they at least get back to that because there's some talent. There's some talent on that offense. I like it.
I mean, there's one talent. It's Terry McLaurin on that offense. That's that's the beginning and end of the list of talent on offense.
Gibson's nice at running back, and Robinson Jr. still needs a little bit more time, but he has the talent.
If you're looking at their schedule, what team do you think they're going to win against?
Well, I mean,
you say confidently, what 7-8 teams are you confident that they're going to win against?
To be honest, the NFC East as a whole, their schedule is tougher this year than it was last year. You know, as a whole, that division had a real favorable schedule for everybody. If we're being quite honest, looking at who they were playing last year,
That's
and
true.
then you guys on who you got to play this year, I think it's going to be a tough sledding for everybody in your division, and it's also you guys are going to beat the shit out of each other. Y'all do it every year, and so you guys are in a tough division. You guys got a little bit tougher schedule. I mean, this is my overall prediction for the NFC East. And I think your best team, if they scramble to get 10, 11 wins, is just because it's just the nature of the strength of schedule that you got to deal with. And maybe your bottom team maybe scrapes maybe 6, 5 wins. That's just because the level of competition, especially in your own division, outside of that, your schedule is going to be tougher this year. So
that's one of the things about being the worst in a division. If you're comfortably the worst in your division, like I think they are, then that's an automatic, likely 6 losses just to start.
Yeah.
Like, I think the Eagles are sweeping them. I think the Cowboys are sweeping them, and I think the Giants are sweeping them, and that's 6 losses right there.
Yeah.
So then you have them going against like other good teams. Let me actually pull up their schedule. Bear with me.
Well, obviously, yeah. What is that?
Riesling.
Yeah. Oh, you drinking wine? Yeah.
And Lamar. I got my IPAs to do a toast with.
Oh man, I ain't even getting no beer.
You got a cuppy cup?
Nah.
You ain't got a cuppy cup next to you?
I already finished my my other drink because I was doing man cave. I had some tequila in that bitch, but
shout out to a good show.
As always, while Randy pulls up that schedule real quick, give me your thoughts on the NFC East as a whole.
As a whole,
yeah.
It should be more competitive than next year, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Philly added a few pieces. A few good pieces on defense. Offense, I don't know if they really upgraded offense too much. I think Philly's still the cream of the crop for the top of the division until proven otherwise.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would say the same.
Second place.
I have second place.
Let's say, here's a tricky part. Giants could finish in second place, depending on health, depending on if they get those certain breaks in games, certain bounces, certain ways. Dallas, you never know what you're going to get with Dallas other than overrated. Like 1 week they're going to look good, and then next week, they play, Middle Tennessee State and blow them out.
Yeah, and I honestly think that there's a high likelihood that Dak Prescott regresses even further this year. I think he probably performed his worst since his rookie year last year, and I could see that trend going down even further. And Mike McCarthy's not a good coach. Even though they have a good top to bottom roster and a lot of very good pieces, Micah Parsons still going to be Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb still going to be CeeDee Lamb. I think that because of those things, the Giants might be able to squeak out above them, who got a couple wins more than they have.
It's very possible. It is. I mean, it's not far fetched, but it all depends on what Daniel Jones shows up. whether or not Daniel Jones's weapons stay healthy and stay on the field for him. Because if they start dropping, like they have in the past few years, and then he's throwing the guys off practice squads and signed off other guys' practice squads, it's kind of really hard to get that continuity with your team when you're constantly rotating guys in and out, in and out, in and out, and you can't get that rapport with them.
Yep.
So if they could stay healthy, at least stay healthy for the most part, because everybody gets banged up here and there. But as long as you avoid the major injuries, their offense could be pretty damn good if he could take the next step forward.
Now
he got a little bit of change.
Yeah.
So now let's see, second year in Dayball's system. Let's see if you could take that next
with better weapons than he had to work with. Like now that he has Darren Waller, now that we have Jalen Hyatt, who's looking really promising, we have a good core of receivers now. Not like necessarily a number one yet, but Darren Waller can be the number one while we're working on
it. I gotta say Simmons for a 7th rounder. And man, Brett Reach, we couldn't do that. The hell? I say Simmons for a 7th round. I'm still tripping about it, dog.
Listen, hey, Lamar, how many times have I told you? And I even told my buddy that I hang out with, because he's also a Giant fan. When we see like these certain players get moved for minuscule draft picks, and I always say, I'm like, why couldn't the Giants be on something like that? Because you'll get such like a lopsided trade, or you'll get a pretty damn good player for like a 6th round pick.
Bro, we just watched Dave Gettleman for years be on the opposite end of these, just making absurd, ridiculous calls. We watched him do it for years. It's our turn now. We deserve it after dealing with all of that for years. Now, I just because we were talking about Washington, I just pulled up their schedule to make my point. And so they're going against the Eagles twice. They're obviously losing those games. They're going against the Giants and the Cowboys twice. They're obviously losing those games. And then
hey, Randy, remember, I think Washington beat Philly last year. I think they split 1-1.
They did, but now my prediction is that Sam Howell is going to be possibly the worst QB in the league. And I think that's going to be even worse than they were last year.
Even with Bieniemy over there?
Even with Bieniemy over there. I mean, I would have a lot of respect for Bieniemy, and he might be able to get something out of him, but it's a 5th round pick. That's you
got Brian Robinson, you got Antonio Gibson, you got Terry McLaurin. So you do have some weapons. They got that other rookie they drafted last year.
What I did say that Terry McLaurin might be able to pull something out of him. Terry McLaurin being their best offensive player, but I see that end up being a disaster, and they have a really tough schedule on top of it. Like they have the 49ers, they have the Dolphins, they have the Jets, who I think are going to be at least a tier 2 contender. They have the Falcons, who I think are going to be better than them. They have the Seahawks, who have one of the best receiving cores, one of the best top to bottom teams right now. Like there aren't a lot of teams here that I think they could squeak a win over. Maybe the Rams, but even that's iffy. Maybe the Patriots, but even that's iffy. The Bears could still be as bad as they were last year, and that might be their other win. But I don't see a lot of teams that they have. The Bills, they're not going to win that game. They have a tough schedule, and they don't have a very good team.
So there's that about 4 or 5 game range that we kind of already spoke about. If you put the math together, kind of even what you're saying. So I mean it's fair. But we'll see what's up. I just think tough division, tough schedule for everybody in that division. It's going to be a lot of beating up. This is going to be the endurance year. The East. It'll be the endurance year. Let's see who can make it to the finish line somewhat healthy in a place that we can make a playoff run. That's going to be, to me, your theme in this division right here. Let's stay in the NFC South. I'll give my predictions real quick. That division is atrocious. Each team has a problem. Panthers, they have an O-line problem. They're gonna get that kid killed.
As small as he is already.
No, Bryce Young's gonna be running for his life. I don't care. I've been seeing what they've been doing in preseason. He's going to be running for his life. Bryce Young.
I posted in the group, man. Like, and the O-line does look bad, and it clearly is playing a role into how bad Bryce Young has been playing.
Exactly.
He does kind of look like shit. Like, he does not look very good,
but it's not even his fault.
It can't just be the O-line, or even if it is, then practically speaking, it's going to be a bad performance.
The O-line is terrible. And
I know. I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that, but practically speaking, if that has that much of a hindrance on him, whether it's him, whether it's the O-line, whether it's a mix of both, the point is it's going to be a bad performance. I have no faith in their offense at all, and I think they're going to be bad.
Frank Reich as a head coach.
Yeah.
I have zero faith in Frank Reich as a head coach.
Yeah.
Zero. He's one of those, you were better off being a coordinator. You're not a head coach. I hate to say it, but you got to be real about it. Falcons, they got some pieces. They squeaked out about 7 wins last year.
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson, that's my offensive rookie of the year. They're going to
Jalen Hyatt, but
they're going to use him as a cowbell, both in the running and passing. His route skills are elite. He can be a wide receiver if he decided. Matter of fact, if he was smart, he would get out the running back market and go jump in the wide receiver market.
Yeah,
and switch his positions. He should think about it for real.
My main hesitation about him winning Offensive Rookie of the Year is particularly because of the bias against running backs. I think more than anything else, I think he has the talent for it for sure. I totally agree. My pick's still going to be Jalen Hyatt. No, I'm not biased, but if not him, Bijan's a legitimate contender for it. And I have the Falcons going 7-10, and I have them being the second in their division behind the Saints. I think they do have some good pieces, including on defense. They have Jesse Bates now, Calais Campbell.
Some good veteran pieces. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. In as weak a division as they have, I think they have a solid enough team to get about 7 wins.
Yeah, that's fair. But I'm definitely going. Just Atlanta. I'm still waiting for Kyle Pitts to break through. I think adding Bijan could probably help that process, maybe because maybe he's not feeling the pressure, or Bijan is such a weapon that maybe most defensive coordinators will start looking and focus on Bijan to stop him, and maybe he can break through. But that's another thing. The Buccaneers, they're getting older on defense. They're getting older on their weapons.
Last place. I have them as last place. And they have
quarterback. Come on.
They have Baker Mayfield as quarterback, and they have Todd Bowles as coach. They're last place. They'll be lucky to get a couple of wins. I have them only getting 1.
and say I'm with you on the Saints. The defense is going to be able to I'm telling you right now, I think that Saints defense is going to rack up crazy turnovers and sacks this year.
Yeah, they have a here's the thing, right? Like the Saints team in any other division would not have a chance of being first. But because of their weak division, they have enough pieces to be a solid team, which in the NFC South is enough. Like they have Alvin Kamara for when his suspension is over. I think he's still very good. I think he's still a top 15 back. You have Chris Olave, who I think is going to make a big splash. Really, really like him. You got Davis and Lattimore on defense. And Derek Carr, I don't think is good, but do I think he's better than Desmond Ridder, Baker Mayfield, and Bryce Young? Yes.
Yes.
And that's all he has to be. So
that's all he has to do.
It's a very easy schedule. I was actually surprised when I went through this how many wins I did end up giving them. I had them going at about 13-4, and I don't think they're a 13-4 team, but they just have that easy a schedule because of their division.
It's funny you say that. Nick said the same thing. He was like, really look at their schedule. It's a very favorable schedule, so like they'll be able to rack up the wins. But when it comes to playoff time, they're going to have to play some tough competition. I don't think they'll be able to match up because they had a cupcake schedule. Jump in here, MJ. What you think about the NFC South?
Saints should run away with that division, barring any injuries. They have the clear-cut favorite team over everybody. And like you said, Atlanta, very young. You don't know what you're going to get at the quarterback position yet. Tampa Bay, I tell you what, man, I see them getting more than one win, Randy. I just feel like, I don't know, man. With the weapons they have, Baker Mayfield, he's just got to play average. Not even like, above average or good. Like if he could use the weapons and they stay on the field, whether with Evans and
Godwin.
What the other guy's name? Godwin. These guys can stay healthy and keep him upright a little bit. I could see him having like a solid season, not a playoff run, but just like, okay, like, all right, he's all right, played all right this year.
I think we've seen enough of Baker Mayfield to know what we got.
He did have that one weird game when he was with the Rams. Maybe I don't expect that to continue, but that to
come on for a season, though, Randy. Come on for a season, though.
No. I just said that I have them going one win. I obviously don't think that's gonna happen. But
like I said, don't get me wrong. I'm not predicting a playoff appearance by them, but I just think they'll be, I think they'll be all right. I don't think they're gonna be like an every week like you're gonna beat them type teams. I think they're gonna get they're gonna get their fair share of wins. 5-6 wins. Right in the middle of the bottom of the division. Colts, right? Colts. That's when it's no, that's AFC.
Yeah.
Who's that? Carolina. Carolina's the other team.
I have them 5-12, and that depends a lot on Bryce Young showing more than he's shown so far.
Yeah, from what I understand, he has looked like shit in the preseason. Mm-hmm. Although he is still a rookie.
Yeah,
getting his feet away a little bit. If he's going to be the QB1, he's going to take his lumps. He's gonna have that learning curve. If he is the starter.
He's the starter. Ain't nobody else getting it.
Just by default. I was watching the PFF podcast, and they were talking about watching him against the Giants because I'd watched that game and I'd watched Dexter Lawrence get to him a couple of times, and what they kept saying was like, if you remember how we felt watching Alex Smith when defenders would get to him after he just came back from his like miracle leg thing. Mm-hmm. And everyone was like, oh no, please don't hurt him. And they were like, that's kind of how it's like watching Bryce Young. It's just like watching a kid being chased by a Wolverine, just like, please don't hurt him. Like that's kind of how it feels. He's a little kid. It's just like, no, don't hurt him. And if he gets sacked once by a big dude, like honestly, that could be it for him. He looks so frail.
He looks frail, but they do have a lot of padding underneath there. So
yeah,
and the way they protect quarterbacks. If he comes out the pocket and doesn't slide, yeah, you're looking to get your head taken off.
Mm-hmm. On top of having the bad O-line, because he's gonna get sacked. It's not even an if; it's gonna happen. And if a guy like Dexter Lawrence, like he'll eat him. That'll be the end of Bryce Young.
That's crazy. All right, so let's take this to the NFC North real quick. Brett Favre left to go to the Jets. Aaron Rodgers did the same thing. He's no longer in the division. Kirk Cousins is there with that same offensive line that got him killed on that whole Netflix series. You look at the Lions come in with some hype and some expectations. First time that's happened in a long time. Bears, they're getting some love and some hype. Got DJ Moore, Justin Fields. There, a lot of people are expecting him to get better.
They're giving. I have a lot to say about Justin Fields when we get to it.
Now go ahead. The floor is yours, man. I'm just trying to set it all up for you.
Okay. I think the NFC North for me, is the only division where who's going to win it is debatable. I think all of the other ones are pretty much set. It's the only one that's going to be competitive, in my opinion. The Vikings could do it. The Lions could do it. And if the Packers' streak of having quarterbacks learn well from their previous mentor continues,
yeah,
Jordan Love could end up being really good, and they have a bunch of pieces. The only one that I don't think has a chance of doing that is the Bears. And Justin Fields is a very interesting case of most people having very weird expectations based off of what a player has actually done. He's actually been horrible, but the perception always seems to be that he's definitely going to be like a top 10 QB in the league, despite never showing that capability at any point, aside from a couple of running plays.
Oh,
statistically, he's one of the worst QBs in the league, even including some backups, and their win-loss record was the worst in the league last year.
Yeah.
DJ Moore isn't enough to make a bad quarterback into a top 10 one. I just don't see that leap happening, and I don't see why people see it that it's going to happen.
Well, you make certain transactions to improve your team. You bring in some weapons. They added a couple pieces on the O-line. I don't know if it's enough, but you do see that they're trying to give Justin Fields something to help him with the process of trying to get better. And let's be honest, man, there was times last year he was making chicken salad out of chicken shit, and made some great plays, whether it was on the ground or even through the air. There was some passes that last year you're like, whoa, that's Justin Fields. Because trust me, Randy, I've been one of his biggest critics. I was not high on him coming out of Ohio State at all, like not even close. So
How many of those passing plays do you remember, though, as the total collective of his plays? Because, I mean, if you look at, he was under 60% completion percentage.
Yeah, I get it. But I'm saying
that's bad.
Yeah, but I'm saying like situations still matter. When he was on a bad team last year.
He was.
How much can he really do to get wins? And there were times where he was just, he was the reason why they won. Because he was just balling out. Hey, is it pretty? Is it statistically going to be nice? More times than not, it won't. He was just effective on freakish athletic skills that he does possess.
He has that upside, and I do recognize that. But how many? If at a certain point, if you're going to position somebody and say they're going to be good, if they're put in a good position. Even though we've never seen that, we've only seen him as a cumulative be bad. On what basis are we assuming he's going to be good? It would be one thing if we a perfect example would be Geno Smith, right? We've seen him be bad, and we've also seen him be good. And those were because the situations were very different.
Yeah.
So we can now say, okay, it's situation specific because we've seen both. We've never seen Justin Fields be good. So we have no reason to assume anything but, okay, he's a bad QB who has legs and can kind of get by sometimes because of his legs.
Mm-hmm.
So he has that upside, and I get that. But I think being a dual threat is a really good thing. If you're a Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts who can also pass, it works. Justin Fields has not shown that he can pass like that, though. And until he does, I can't give him credit for stuff he hasn't done yet.
Hey, everybody's going to have their opinions, and I'm not saying you're wrong for having it. I'm just saying, like, when you're going to see some things, and you're like, oh, okay. Let's because, for instance, I've always loved Lamar Jackson, and I've always thought he was always sell short by a lot of media people and people who just,
Oh, agreed. And when we get to the AFC North, I will definitely get into that. I totally agree with you there.
No doubt. But we'll see what happens with the. But I will say this: I do kind of agree with you. I'm rocking with the Lions to take this division, and on the fact that man, that defense was playing better the second half because they were atrocious in the first half for sure.
Mhm.
And then with Aaron Glenn, I think being the D coordinator again, knowing like I can't have these boys playing on defense like that again. So the offensive pieces out there, they get it cracking on the offensive side. They were able to score with on any and everybody last year. And that was including Philly, who had the most sacks. So
the Lions I have taken the division too. I have it being very close between them and the Vikings, though. I think people are writing off the Vikings a lot, and I think their defense is going to be better under Brian Flores. They have Justin Jefferson, and having Justin Jefferson always makes you a contender. I think that the Lions are going to be like one win above the Vikings to take the division, but I think it's going to be close.
Yeah, I think it's going to be close as well. MJ, you ready? Give me a thumbs up, my boy. Let me know when you're ready. All right. How you feel about the NFC North real quick?
NFC North. On paper, you would think it would be Detroit, right? That's just on paper. I think Chicago is going to be a lot better than what people think. Green Bay, I see Green Bay taking a step back because entering Jordan Love, and I mean, unless he turns out to really be the real deal, I see them taking a step back this year. And the last squad, Minnesota, you kind of know what you get year in, year out. They could put up great regular season numbers. They can put up great fantasy numbers, things like that. But can you really trust Kirk Cousins in the playoffs? Can you trust him in prime time? He's has a track record of being absolutely cement basura when it comes to playoff games. When it comes to night games, I don't see this lasting too much longer with Minnesota. They're going to be in the market for a quarterback soon because I just don't see Kirk Cousins as the answer there. He's a good stopgap right now, because he's a decent quarterback. Borderline,
he's
borderline good quarterback. Not a superstar, but not your
He'll carry a team to a winning record, a slightly above 500 record, and probably get you into the playoffs if he has a good team around him, which I think he does. And I mean, let's remember, he was third in passing yards for every quarterback last year. I think that he gets sold short a lot, despite generally performing pretty well. But I do agree that he's not going to get them to the Super Bowl. And if they're going to try to take advantage of prime Justin Jefferson, they need someone who can take them to the Super Bowl.
Kirk Cousins is a perfect storm quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is it's self-explanatory. It needs to be a perfect storm. It needs to be his team has less injuries. His team, everybody is contributing. That defense is actually helping. That O-line is not getting his head taken off.
Yep.
Let's remember also, they had one of the worst defenses in the league last year and one of the worst O-lines, and he basically just had Justin Jefferson, and that was enough for him to take them 13-4.
Shows you how special Justin Jefferson is, in my opinion.
Don't forget, they had Dalvin Cook, they had Matisse, they had Hawkinson.
Sure.
And then they had Thielen that filled in, here and there. He didn't have, anything. Thielen didn't have a great season, but he did have other weapons besides, Justin Jefferson that did help. My point is,
Kirk Cousins' situation wasn't ideal last year, and he did very well in a not perfect situation.
True. That's fair point. Fair point. All right, well, let's move this train moving to the last division in the NFC. Talking about the NFC West, and I'll be brief. Arizona Fire Sale, they're going to be straight Dookie, Masuda, Schmidt, Booty Juice. I don't even think y'all don't even need to discuss it. Y'all can if you want to, but it's pointless. Arizona's going to be god awful.
Whether they get even a single win depends a lot on if they're willing to trot out Kyler Murray just out of pride by the time he's healthy. And I don't see why they would at that point. By the time he's healthy, they're going to be out of playoff contention. So it would really just depend on whether they're willing to do that. They might get a win against a team like the Texans if they do, just to not go winless. But that's basically entirely up to that decision.
Hey, they could go beat Arizona A&M. I don't even know if that's a legit college team, but they could probably go beat them. But, they probably
you got Northern Arizona, who's a pretty good squad. You got U of A, you got ASU.
Sarcasm, man. Come on.
I know your sarcasm. You always like to throw digs at Arizona, and
I wouldn't even throw it
everything I root for.
I'm throwing a dig at Arizona Cardinals on how bad they're going to be.
Man, you threw a dig at Arizona because you love to do it.
No, it didn't.
I got you.
Who else is out there in the West? Obviously, the Rams. I think they're going to be they'll be a step above Arizona. I don't think the Rams are going to be that far off. They'll probably get 5-6 wins. Aaron Donald, he's pretty much going to have to be the catalyst of that defense. They traded away all their pieces. This is what happens when you go all in to get a Super Bowl and you can't pay anybody because you gave up all your draft picks and paid them. So Rams,
they're paying the devil back now.
Oh yeah, they won't be too far off. So, and then I think it's a toss up between Rams and not Rams, 49ers and Seahawks. I really do. I think the Seahawks they got a little bit of that formula from 2014, 2013 is where get a young defense and in their second year they're going to play better, run the ball, and weapons everywhere on offense. And just Geno he can easily duplicate what he did last year easily.
But Geno could also be Geno.
That's the thing. In both cases with the 49ers and the Seahawks, the main what if is their quarterback.
Is the quarterback, yeah.
Yeah. So
according to San Fran, Purdy's their number one. They just named Sam Darnold number 2.
Yeah. So the question is Purdy that guy, or is he a Shanahan project? Was that just a Shanahan lucky run, or is he actually that guy? I lean towards it being that guy just because I have no reason not to. He played very well until he got hurt. So
small sample size though, Randy.
It is. So yeah, I'm just going based off what we've seen, and what we've seen has been good. What they've seen, which made them put him number 1, has apparently been good. So I
mean, if he could turn out to be their number 1, that's all well and good. You found a fucking steal.
Yeah,
good. Good for you.
Yeah, I have the 49ers winning the division, but if the Seahawks do win the division, I won't be that surprised. They have a really good team.
I think so too. Once you look it up and down on that roster, you're like, oh, Seattle really ain't that bad.
On both sides.
Yeah, on both sides of the football. They're just young, especially on the defensive side. Mm-hmm. But I love their weaponry that they got on the offensive side.
Bro, DK, Tyler, and now JSN, that's a good core. That gives Geno a lot to work with. And then Kenneth Walker on top of it.
Exactly. Noah Fant at tight end. Mm-hmm. I think he's still a solid tight end. I know a lot of people got a lot of expectations on him, what he was supposed to do and what he's supposed to be by now. But hey, not everybody can come out the gates being like a Travis Kelce. That you got to work your way up to that. So
what's his name get hurt last year? The running back you just named?
Who, Kenneth Walker?
Yeah. Did he get hurt last year?
Or something like that. But for the most part, he stayed pretty durable. So let's
Tariq Woolen on the other side of the ball.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Last year. One of the best corners in the league already.
Well, because he didn't have the media hype that Sauce get. So
that's true, yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, let's flip this joint to the AFC, and we're gonna start this with the AFC East. This one's such a hard thing to judge, but I think for me,
No, then
Patriots going to be at the bottom.
Patriots at the bottom, absolutely. I don't have them getting that many wins.
Yeah. Then after that,
Were you really? You what?
I said I don't have the Patriots having that many wins.
Oh, I thought you said I don't see the Patriots having any wins.
Oh no.
no.
Not that many.
I was gonna like, holy shit, man! You know, let's squeak out double.
But you know,
I have them having 3 wins.
Bottom. I always say this: Jets ceiling is 12-5. Their floor is 7-10. I know they're coming with the hype, but
the Jets, along with I think the Packers, are the two teams that have the widest range of possible outcomes. For the Jets, especially, they could be in the Super Bowl or they could be 5-12. It depends entirely on Aaron Rodgers. Is he MVP Aaron Rodgers with a good target to throw to now? Or is he last year's Aaron Rodgers? Was it really just him? Or was it having a bad receiving core? This is going to be the proof of that, because now he has Garrett Wilson, who the Jets almost got to the playoffs with the worst QB in the league. Aaron Rodgers almost got to the playoffs with a terrible receiving core situation. So we're putting them together and we're expecting good results. But if it actually was Aaron Rodgers, then this will be Brett Favre at the Jets 2.0, and they'll be terrible.
I really have just because we don't know what they're going to look like. That's why I'm like, It's so hard to gauge them, because I'm like, I can really see them being like an actually good team. And at the same time, I'm like, if things just don't go perfect, or not even perfect. So, like, bro, like,
I have them going 11-6, and I'm essentially cutting the difference. I do think they're going to be good enough to go into the playoffs.
That schedule's brutal, bro.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
What's their record?
I gave them 11-6. That's what I'm expecting.
That's a daunting task, bro. You're talking about the Jets, right?
Yeah.
That's a daunting task. Go 11-6.
I think remember, like I just said, the Jets and the Packers both almost got into the playoffs with significantly worse top to bottom teams, and they took essentially the best of both teams and put them together. You have a top 5 defense. You have Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, and if Aaron Rodgers can be MVP Aaron Rodgers with someone to throw to, that's a really good team. It just depends on him. So I'm kind of cutting the difference by giving them 11-6. They could go comfortably above or below that, depending on Rodgers.
The Bills, I don't even know what to really make of the Bills. I mean, I
still have them winning the division, but I do think Josh Allen individually is going to regress a bit.
I think they still get 10 wins because they still, kind of carry that cachet of being one of those top teams in the AFC, but I can't really go past 10 wins. I think it's a cluster at the top between Buffalo, Jets, and Miami. I think have 7, 11 wins. So we'll see.
I'm giving them 14 wins, but it's another case where if Josh Allen does regress a lot, because remember, he did regress a bit at the end of last year. And
that Dayball effect is huge, bro. That Brian Dayball effect is huge.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That, I mean, if you look at how he was before and after Brian Dayball and during, and if you look at what he's done to Daniel Jones,
you can see the difference.
Yeah, exactly. And same thing with like what he did to Daniel Jones. Like Brian Daboll really matters a lot for these QBs, and especially when it comes to turnovers. So I do think that he's going to regress individually, but they have such a good top to bottom team, even with him regressing a bit, that I still think that they're going to be I still think they're going to win the division, and I still think they're going to make noise in the playoffs. but I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they're even getting to the AFC Championship. I think it's going to be roughly the same as last year.
Yeah.
With him being a little worse.
Yeah. Jump in here, MJ, about the AFC East real quick.
I still got the Bills winning it.
Mm-hmm.
I still got Miami number 2 as long as my guy is healthy. As long as two is healthy, he is the key to that whole division, man. Because if he played like he did last year, they're going to be a problem for some teams, man. Mm-hmm. Especially if they maybe pick up a certain running back, out in Indy.
Yeah. I think Miami's going to be good. I think Miami's going to be very good. I think they're going to have a winning record also. I think
I got Buffalo, Miami, Jets, New England.
Yeah, like those 3 teams are going to be great, and then the Patriots are going to be bad just because of the rest of the people that have to play.
Hey, man.
And having Mac Jones and Zeke, which is not anything.
Hey, man, my boy Rod in Tennessee, he was like, "Yo, I thought we was boys." I'm like, "We are, but Rod, man, I gotta be honest, man. I gotta be honest. You invited me on this show. I'm gonna be honest." So I'm like, bro, come on, you got mac and cheese, bro. But let's take this over to AFC West. Obviously, Chiefs, Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders, and Raiders. I'll say this: Aiden O'Connell, y'all should give that boy a shot. I'm just saying, because he's going to see playing time anyway. At some point in time, Jimmy G's, we've seen it time and time again. He has durability issues. I mean, that's no secret. So if you're the backup, man, be prepared, be ready, because you're going to see some time.
Yeah, especially since he's getting less protection than he did with the 49ers.
Yeah.
So if anything, he'll get hurt quicker.
Yes. So that's the thing right there. So Aiden O'Connell, he might be able to play well enough to get him some games, but I better take care of this Josh Jacobs situation. Because if you want to win,
they said he's reporting to camp before week 1.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. What's up, O? So I mean, yeah, still got a defensive problem.
That's true. I think every team in that division, but the Chiefs, is kind of an underachieving team. They also have a bit of an underachieving problem, at least from looking at last year specifically. The Chargers should be one of the dominant powerhouses just on a talent basis alone, but they have Brandon Staley. The Broncos, on paper, have more talent than they performed last year as having, and they had Nathaniel Hackett. And the Raiders do have a good amount of stars on that team. Not a lot of depth, but a lot of stars, enough that they should be better than they were, but they have Josh McDaniels. So
Josh McDaniels factor is real.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that all 3 teams have the possibility to be better than they were. I'm very high on the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to make a lot of noise now that the offensive coordinator is changing, because the talent's there on both sides of the ball. The talent's there.
You're going to throw the ball a lot. I know that for damn sure. Kellen Moore is going to throw that ball.
He's going to try to turn him into Josh Allen. He's going to say, "We have this athletic group. Why is he throwing checkdowns?" They're going to use him like they should have always been using him. And they have him, they have Eckler, they have Williams, they have Allen. Now they have Quentin Johnston, the guy who I wanted the Giants to take. On defense, they have Derwin James, Khalil Mack. They have Joey Bosa. They have Asante Samuel. They have good players, a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. They should be a good team. It's just the coaching. So if that's changing, then I do have high hopes for them. I have them going 12-5.
Yeah, you being hella generous, bro.
But the Chiefs are still sweeping them. Don't worry.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't not from going. They got 9 wins, I think, last year to 12-5. Hey,
Chargers aren't going 12-5.
The offensive coordinator was bad, and now he's being. I think that's going to make a huge difference. I think that's the main problem with them has always been coaching, not talent.
Second half of the season, they fucking lose games they shouldn't.
Yeah, they lose games they shouldn't. Exactly.
Hey, Stanley's questionable. Yes, you're right. So, I mean, yeah, he says McDaniels is one of the worst coaches ever. That's Omar, man. Shout out to him and Ball and Buzz Sports and Entertainment. So I know they got Sean Payton, but I still don't think that makes that much of a difference for the Broncos.
I don't know what to think. I don't know what because Sean Payton has done miracle work before, and it's not like Russell Wilson has a bad track record. He had a bad year, but is that because of Nathaniel Hackett? I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say. He was great up until that 1 year with a really historically bad coach.
Yeah, but I mean, Rusty, I get it. Nathaniel Hackett deserved to get fired. He didn't make it through the season, but Russ did not play well.
No, he played horribly. He played horribly, but the question is why? Because it's not like he doesn't know how to play. We've seen him be a top maybe 20 or 30 QB of all time. Only like a couple.
Whoa. You got to choose your words carefully. You said 20, 30 all time?
Yeah, I've seen him on some like top 30-ish lists before. It's not that crazy, just on a pure talent basis. I think you could make that argument.
You see all time. Talking about all the football that's ever been played in the NFL. That's what we mean all time. So you sure you saying this?
I think it's a debate. If I think you could make a debate that he belongs in the top maybe 30. Not 20. 20 was too much, but maybe 30. Do I definitely think so? I don't know, but I think there's a conversation to be had if you subtract last year.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down on that one and look that through. But yeah, that's for another show. Thank you. And then Chargers. I get it. Justin Herbert just got the bag. I think he does have the talent. Brandon Staley is a kook sometimes when it comes to coaching decisions. I don't know what the hell. Listen to that damn analytical bullshit.
What have you done for me lately?
Going for their fourth in his deep in his own territory. That never makes sense to me.
Right.
And look, and you want to beat a man, got to beat the man. I think that's self-explanatory. So, we'll see what whatever the rest of the division does. What do you think about the AFC West over the MJ?
AFC West, Chiefs.
Well, yeah, Chiefs are the one. Like, of course they're going to be good. They're the Chiefs. It's Patrick Mahomes. Like, you can do literally almost anything to him, and as long as he has Travis Kelce, they're going to win games.
And this is
to me, it's the Chiefs. It's everybody else.
Yeah.
Until you prove me otherwise, like Raiders aren't close, Denver's not close.
When I looked at the Chiefs' schedule,
San Diego's up there, but
when I look at the Chiefs' schedule,
I don't think they're quite at the Kansas City Chief level.
When I looked at each game, and obviously I don't think they have the perfect top to bottom roster, but when I looked at when I looked at each game that they were going to be in, I found myself just being like, okay, they're the favorite in all of these games.
Yeah.
I can't think of a time, even though they don't have the best top to bottom roster, I still don't feel comfortable being like Patrick Mahomes is going to lose that game. It almost always feels like if somebody's beating them, they're doing so as the underdog.
Yeah.
That's just how good he is. That's just how good his connection with Kelce is. That's how good Reed is.
Yeah. And I said this on the Twitter space the other day. I was like, I know it is like a Kansas City Chiefs Twitter space, and I'm like, I know everybody's freaking out and upset about it, but we got to remember it was all you got to do is give Mahomes a 15th to 19th ranked defense, and he'll get you to the Super Bowl. He did it twice already.
Yeah.
And I get it. Chris Jones was on that defense, but as long as you get a 15th to 19th ranked defense, it'll be all right.
He's done it with less. He's done it with even worse defenses than that. He did it after they took his star receiver away. He did it with a hurt leg. He can do it basically no matter what.
Do I want Chris Jones on the roster? Of course. I mean, the only defensive tackle you could probably name better than him right now is his name is Aaron Donald in LA, wearing 99. So yes, I would love to have Chris Jones on the team, but still, if the show must go on, give him the 15th to 19th rate defense, and you're still in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Let's take this over to AFC South. I think this was one pretty brief. I know the Jaguars are probably going to be the favorite. I even said that too, but I don't think they're that far ahead of the Titans. Obviously, the coach, they're trying to figure out what they got with Richardson. So that's one thing of its own. And then, of course, with Texans, they're always rebuilding. So I think it's a two-headed monster race right here between Titans and Jaguars. Jaguars slightly get it, but they're not too far ahead of Tennessee as people want to make it. They only beat them by 2 games last year in the standings. So it's not that far off. So what do you think about it, Randy?
I've been very vocal about the fact that I think the Jaguars are overrated and that I think Trevor Lawrence is overrated. But at the same time, they're in a bad division. The Colts, I think, are going to be historically awful, and the Texans, I think, could be too. The only team that has any competition with them is the Titans, and their quarterback situation's out of whack. Yeah. So just on that basis alone, they don't even have to be that good to win the division. They just have to beat those teams.
Yeah.
And that's nothing. That's easy. So, yeah. I mean, the Titans now have DeAndre Hopkins. I think that's going to help a lot. I think that's going to basically keep them in games that Derrick Henry himself wouldn't be able to do normally, or their very good run defense with Jeffrey Simmons wouldn't be able to do on its own. Now they have DeAndre Hopkins, so now they have a passing game, but their quarterback situation is still out of whack. So
yeah,
I don't think they're going to win the division, but I think I have them going about 7-10 also. Just, not being horrendous, but not being a winning team. And I do think they're going to be in the market for maybe another QB. They're firing Tannehill for sure. And maybe focusing, I don't know what to think of Will Levis yet. Maybe he'll end up being a star. Who knows? But yeah, I think Jacksonville's comfortably winning this division, but mostly because of how weak it is.
Yeah, that's fair. Jump in here, MJ, about the AFC South.
AFC South. Jaguars should clearly run away with that division. The Colts with a rookie running back and not knowing what's going on with Jonathan Taylor. Can't trust them right now. Texans, obviously, they're in a rebuild. They might play some tough games, but I don't see them being competitive the whole year. And
CJ Stroud
Tennessee, what's that?
CJ Stroud looked like shit in preseason.
Yeah,
so I
don't see them being too competitive at least this year.
Yeah,
I'm not expecting that.
Grace ended up being bad too, so I think they're going to be one of the worst teams. And it wasn't even good in college, so I have no faith in that either.
Well, their head coach, D'Amico Ryans, he basically, excuse me, he just basically said he wants this team to show improvement this year going into next year.
Yeah.
Which is good because you've been terrible. So if you can at least take a step forward in the first year, at least build on something, and then you have that the next couple years, and you never know, you could be right back in the playoff contention.
Yep. Yeah,
You know, if I had to choose, if it's two teams, Jacksonville's a team to beat, and Tennessee, you know, you never know what you're going to get with them. You know, especially with Tannehill and things like that. I don't see Tennessee making a lot of noise, but I see them being one of those pain in the ass teams you don't want to play.
Yeah, they play physical football.
You know, you look at the paper like, all right, yeah, we should roll them. Then you look at them like, oh man, we're playing them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because they do play hard nosed ball.
Yeah, they have some really good pieces. It's if they fix their quarterback situation, they can end up being a fairly competitive team. It depends on that.
Yeah, I'm a Malik Willis guy. Come on, Malik Willis, go take that job, bro. Come on. Anyway, final division, and we're gonna go over this. Rachel, look, AFC North. I'll be honest, fellas. I think this might be the only division in all of football that I think they might put all four teams in their division in the playoffs. I think they might have 3 wild cards, all of them coming from North. I get it; they're going to beat the hell out of each other, but damn it, I think Cleveland.
You know who I'm picking to win the division. I have faith.
Yeah, you going Pittsburgh. I got you.
Yep.
I got you.
I do think that all 4 teams have the possibility of having a winning record. I do have all 4 of them having a winning record, but obviously there are some if factors there. Is Deshaun Watson good again? Is Kenny Pickett good? Like those are still what ifs, but they both have enough pieces that I can comfortably say if they are good, they're going to be a winning team.
Agreed.
Cases. And the Bengals are the Bengals. They're always a contender. The Ravens, since we talked about Lamar Jackson before, now that Lamar Jackson has a passing scheme and that he has a good set of receivers with OBJ, with promising-looking Zay Flowers, I think they could be the team that they should have always been. I think they could be a high team.
Hold on, Randy. You can't forget the man ain't got no distractions. He got paid now.
Yeah, exactly. Also that now he has to prove that he's worth that money. So
bingo.
Yeah, I think that they could end up having a very good record and also winning a playoff game or two. I definitely I have them being second in the division, and I think they're going to make massive improvements as long as Lamar stays healthy, which is the big if. Same thing with Joe Burrow. If this injury isn't too serious and he can play, then they're going to dominate as always. But, I think all 4 teams are going to be at least above average. And I think the Bengals are going to be dominant and the Ravens are going to be great. And the Browns and the Steelers are both going to be good depending on how good their QB is.
Yeah, I dig it.
Steelers are going to win that division.
Wait, who? Who's winning that division?
Steelers are going to win that division.
Ooh, okay. Let's talk to me. Why?
Why?
That's a lot.
Don't mind if I do. Here we go, Lamar. You ready?
Did you
get him? Kenny Pickett, number 1. Kenny Pickett. I think he is very underrated. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. He's going to prove exactly why. He's going to prove exactly why he was the first quarterback chosen last year's draft. Once he inserted him into the starting lineup last year, they want him going. I don't know. They rattled off like 7 out of 9 wins, 7 out of 8 wins, something like that, to finish with another winning that a lot of people didn't think was going to be in the cards, last year with Mike Tomlin and his record. Number 2, you got Najee Harris back there. Man the beast with the ball. Man's an absolute beast. Number 3, You got Mr. George Pickens on the outside, who has a good rapport with Kenny Pickens so far. You got Freiermuth. Freiermuth is a very solid tight end. They're who's their second receiver? Deontay Johnson? Or is he gone?
Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson's still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Boom. So you got two bona fide receivers, bona fide tight end, and a bona fide quarterback. I mean, not quarterback, bona fide running back. You got a quarterback going into his second year, a solid offensive line, absolutely excellent defense. I just think Pittsburgh, with all the hoopla that you're hearing from like Baltimore and Cincinnati, I seriously think, you know, I'm just high on Pittsburgh, man. They seem to always find the right things to do under Coach Tomlin. He gets them boys coached up, and they know how to win. They know how to finish ball games. So that's my dark horse pick right now for AFC North champs. I'm gonna roll with Pittsburgh.
I will say that I agree with a good amount of the things that you said. Their defense is excellent if everybody's healthy. They have a potentially top 5 defense, and that matters a lot, especially if they're carrying an offense. They have a great coach. So I don't have them winning the division. In fact, I have them being 4th in the division. And the main reason why is because if you look at, say, the Browns, for instance, they have roughly almost as good a defense, but I think a comfortably better offense. And I think the same thing with the Ravens. So as a result of having the offensive advantage, but not a big loss on defense, I think that's going to carry them over. And the Bengals are always the Bengals. So the only reason why I would not put them first is if Joe Burrow is seriously hurt. So that's there.
Yeah. Hey, but I mean, the Bengals, they've been the ones that's been winning this division lately. So, like, if we're applying that, until further notice, it has to be the Bengals. So
they're such a complete team. They're so complete. They have the best receiving trio, or at least a top 2-3 receiving trio. They have the second best quarterback, and they have a very good defense and a very good coach. Like, it's just so solid. Everything's really solid there.
Yeah, it's really solid. I wouldn't say complete, because I think they got some questions on their defense that needs to get answered this year. They got to start showing that their defense can be dominant and stop, being opportunistic. I think the defense was very opportunistic last year.
Okay.
Their
O-line is always a problem.
Oh, trust me, they can have Orlando Brown. They can have that. Say what you want. A great pass. He's a great, run blocker. He'll open up some holes on his left side of the O-line, because he's elite at run blocking.
Yeah.
Pass blocking, he is slow. Feet are heavy, and he can get beat by the speed rush easily.
Mm-hmm.
And so, hey, that's just because I've seen the last 2 years of him here in Kansas City. I know.
Yeah, which is another point, right? Like, we just talked about the Chiefs being like the main characters of the NFL right now, but who's really the only team to consistently beat them? It's the Bengals.
No, that's true.
They're the one team to consistently be a competitor against them, and I think because of that, you got to give them over everybody else.
Yeah, and every game was by 3 points. So even if you flip that coin, maybe they don't even discuss that quote unquote rivalry. But it is what it is. But hey, man, we're gonna get up out of here, man. Randy, I appreciate you taking the time out to go over these divisions with us, and tap in with all that. And man, we always appreciate you. Rand, all you got to do is hit the DMs and we'll get you in here, man. So shout out to you for sure. Anything you want to plug to our viewers and listeners real quick?
I plugged it the last couple of times. I'll plug it again. I'm an audio engineer. Me and my partner do mixing, mastering, recording, all of that, making beats. You can find me on Instagram at Panther on Acid Productions. Give me a shout out if you need anything.
For sure. And y'all know what it is. Casey Wildcard, my JerzeyBoy MJ, I.O.W Sports Late Night Hour. We out here. We'll see y'all next week. Peace and love. Yes, y'all. It's your boy Wildcard Mar here, and I'm excited, folks. I hope you are, because football is back, baby. Yes, it is. And what better way to celebrate football being back by joining the I.O.W Sports Football Pick'em League. It gives you an opportunity as football fans to test your football knowledge if you can pick the winners of each game for 18 straight weeks. But please believe, it's going to be some stiff competition out there because we've done this for the last 3 years. Of course, you're looking at the inaugural winner, Melvin Wong from Man Down Sports, our year 2 winner. You see him rocking the championship belt. And then, of course, I.O.W Sports' very own JerzeyBoy MJ won the Pick'em League last year. He walked away with the championship belt, bragging rights, but most importantly, $200 cash. We gonna up that pot this year, y'all. Get a chance to win $300 cash, the championship belt, and bragging rights. So in order to join the Football Pick'em League, here's how you do it. You must pay an entry fee of $10. Send it to either PayPal, Zelle, or Cash App. Give us your email, and in return, we will give you the link to join the group league. And after that, it's up to you. Y'all think you know how to pick NFL games for 18 straight weeks? You want the bragging rights? You want the championship belt? You want the $300 cash? Join the league. September 7th will be here in no time, so you don't want to wait too long. You don't want to hesitate at a chance of winning some cash, a championship belt, and bragging rights. Until then, keep enjoying all this I.O.W Sports content on I.O.W Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.